Hello, I'm Sally Stanton and welcome to Snacks and Suitcases, the podcast packed with tips, tricks and real-life stories to make travelling with kids of all ages a whole lot easier and way more fun. And today's guest is a familiar face to many Aussies, actor, host and all-round TV favourite Luke Jacobz.
Mom, can I pack all my teddies?
Okay, let's get started. You've seen him on shows like The X Factor, Dancing with the Stars, Home and Away, McLeod's Daughters, Big Arvo from way back when, Instant Hotel, and most recently, Sydney Weekender with me. But these days, Luke's playing a whole new role. Dad. With a 2-year-old daughter keeping him on his toes and another baby on the way, Luke's navigating the wild world of parenting. In this episode, Luke shares how life has changed, what he's learned so far, and his tips for surviving trips, tantrums, and tiny humans on planes and road trips. Whether you're a first-time parent or just love a good behind-the-scenes chat, this one's full of laughs, heart, and real talk about family life in the sky and on the road. So let's listen to Luke's travels as a dad. Luke Jacobz, welcome to Snacks and Suitcases. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me. I feel a little bit nervous, but I'm also extremely excited. And thanks for the invite. It's great.
You're welcome. I hope you don't feel under any sort of pressure because you are my first Australian actor and, most importantly, dad.
You haven't had a dad on before? I'm the first dad? Now I'm feeling pressure, yes.
Yes, because, generally speaking, dads take a back seat when it comes to booking holidays. Generally, mums take on that mental and physical load of planning it, researching it, booking it, packing for it.
Absolutely. I have to agree. I think the dads have the generalizing. Dads have more of a laid back, we'll see how it goes. Don't worry about it. This will be fine. But I think it depends on the type of holiday. For me, for what I've sort of learned is that, sometimes you can't overplan. Like if you say, we're going to do this, this and this, you just don't know what your child's about to do. You don't know if they're going to give you 20 minutes of great times and then 5 hours of complaining, or they're going to give you a wonderful day. So, I've tried to really both Rachel and I have tried to really take a step back and just be a little bit more relaxed with the planning. But it doesn't matter. Mums will always worry more.
Yes.
It's ingrained in them. So I try to be a little bit more relaxed, more so I can keep Rachel relaxed.
Oh, that's a good partner and a good dad.
Right.
Brownie
this is all so new, and everybody can try to tell you all of the warnings and nothing can really prepare. So I think, learning as you go is the number one thing at the moment, but I'm having such a good time.
I was one of those really blasé people thinking, oh no, I'm going to keep on traveling the exact same way when I have a child. There's no reason to stop.
Yeah, I don't need to. They can just sit on my hip and they'll just sit next to me when we order food and when we wait for a train or when we wait for a plane and there's a delay. It'll be fine.
They'll sleep on the go.
Yeah, of course.
Lies. Before we get into all your great tips about traveling with kids, let's talk about what you've been doing for the last few years because, Luke, you have been on just about every TV show in Australia. But
I know.
No, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
We actually started in a similar way on kids television at Channel 7.
Absolutely. And that was back out at Mobbs Lane out at Epping. I started off doing bits and pieces like little commercials here and there, but then my first presenting job was just before the 2000 Olympics, and it was on a kids TV show called The Big Arvo. I think we even shared the same studios, like those Disney and Big Arvo shared the same studios for a long time, which was great. But it was kids TV was the best. It was the best because it was so laid back and it was so like easy to do, and it was just it was such a fun sort of type of show to be on.
Yep.
And I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
You're right. And I really haven't had another job like it. It's kind of the show our show was where we could act, we could present, we'd be interviewing celebrities, then we'd be out on a farm, riding a horse with a farmer. It was so different.
The good thing about it too is that the only time there was ever something that was in like a repeating is when you'd go into the studio, but every time you went into the studio you were doing something completely different. We got to experience it all, and I think kids TV was that. I miss it. I'm not going to lie to you. I miss it a lot.
You want to bring the Big Arvo back?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. We'll make it the big evening now because it'll only go from 6 till 7 p.m. because after that I'm pretty much in bed.
Same. So did you do a lot of traveling on that show or any of your other gigs?
I did a lot of traveling when I got more to the X Factor. So we sort of made that like an international a part of the show. So we did the auditions and stuff in Australia. So we'd go down to Victoria, we go to Queensland, we do all the big auditions, and then we do a boot camp. Once we did the boot camp, we would then say we're going to the home visits. So we would go to London, we would go to California or LA, we would go to New York. So we actually traveled a lot for that show.
Right.
And that was amazing because we literally pack a suitcase and say, right, we're going to Abu Dhabi for a week, then we're going to London for a week, then we're going to go to LA for a week and then back to London for a week and then back home. So it was just like pack all of your things and get on the road and literally live out of a suitcase working 7 days a week for a month. But that
the
was
good old days
so
of TV.
much. That were the good old days of television, weren't they? I love those.
Now, Luke, is it true you actually played 4 different characters on Home and Away?
Do you know what? No, do you know what? The funniest thing about we're doing a podcast now, and so there's no camera on, but the reaction that you would have seen on my face then that you know that I did 4 characters on Home and Away. I did, yeah. So I started very, very young. I was in my teens and I played a school student, and then I came back a couple of years later and played more of an adolescent teen, and then I came back again to break up a relationship between Gypsy and Will at a soccer match.
Gypsy.
Yes, and then I came back again after that to play Angelo Rosetta, so the police officer, and that the police officer role was the one that sort of stuck.
Yeah,
that was the more long-term one, and I came back a second time to be the detective Angelo Rosetta. So I've actually made 5 appearances on Home and Away.
That's how good an actor you are, Luke, to play 4 different characters, come back again.
It's amazing what a haircut can do for you. And I had really long hair when I was younger, so you put it back in a ponytail as one kid, and then you lay it out having looking like a gothic kind of emo kid, and then that was another character, and then you get it cut, and then you put on a police outfit, so you can really change the look of someone very, very easily.
I forgot you had a ponytail.
I did. I had really long hair. I had hair 2 or 3 inches below my collarbones.
Oh, really?
So it was
Surfy
and look,
look.
Yeah, it was very much a surfy look. It was the 90s. It was kind of grunge, surfy look, and I kind of just I always grew up wanting to be different, and my parents let me. I don't know whether I thank them for that or whether I'm upset with them, but yeah, I did have long hair for quite a long time. But it was being able to be on the show for a few different roles was really, really fun. So when I got the last one that sort of stuck, I think once you're on the show for 3 years, it's pretty hard to then come back as a different character. So I'm not sure, but Angelo didn't die, so I might come back. You never know.
Exactly. And Angelo was Italian, right?
Sally, don't I look 100% Italian? I
was going
question
to
this.
ask, do you have any Italian in you?
Nothing at all. So when I went for the audition, they said to me, "Look, just read for the character, and we'll sort out. We're just trying to get a grasp of the character. So can you just read for it, and then we'll see how we go." I said, "Okay." Anyway, I got the role, and they said, "We start filming tomorrow." I said, "Cool. Well, what's my name going to be?" And they said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, in the audition piece that we're shooting like the next day," I said, I'm an Italian. And they said, "Yeah, you're just going to be an Italian." And I said, "Okay. What do you mean?" And they said, "Well, you're just going to be Angelo." And I said, well, how am I Italian? They went, "We'll just say that you're from Northern Italy, and that's pretty much it." So there you go. That's how you become Italian.
You're Italian.
Yep.
Have you been to Italy for research?
I have been. I wasn't for research. I wish I could have made some benefits.
Home and Away would have sent you there.
Yeah, sent me over there for a year just to live in the mountains and really take in the culture. I went there on a Kentucky tour.
Yes.
About a month before I started the Big Arvo.
Way back then.
Yeah, so it's been a very, very long time. I think the Colosseum was actually still operating when I was there, so it was quite a while ago. But yeah, that was a beautiful part of the world.
And now you have a little girl, Maisie. How has life changed since she came along?
She's almost 2. I didn't realize how much something so small could completely change my view on just everything. She's my everything, and my wife Rachel and I were absolutely petrified. We tried for a very long time to have kids. We had quite a few issues, so we ended up going down the IVF route. We needed to get assistance, and so we kind of got to the point where we were almost, thinking, do we start to look at other options? Is adoption an option? Is surrogacy an option? All these different things. And
Gosh, that must have been so hard.
you don't wish that upon anyone. So when we had Maisie, we've been smiling and crying. Is a combination ever since, and it's been such a miracle. It's been wonderful.
And now you've got another miracle bub on the way.
Another baby miracle. We've got a few months to go. Maisie's got a little brother on the way, and the most amazing thing is that we were able to conceive naturally. And we were thinking, okay, we're going to start to go through this process again, and so we were starting to sort of prepare ourselves emotionally for that roller coaster, because just because you have one success, it doesn't guarantee you that you have another. And so we started to physically and emotionally plan to go through that again. And then I was mowing the lawn one day, and I walked inside to get a drink. And Maisie came over to me with what I thought was a COVID stick.
Well, they are very similar.
Right? So, and she gave it to me, and I've picked it up, and like Maisie gave it to me, da, 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 da. And I picked it up, and I looked at Rachel and said, oh, have you got COVID? Because I think we were going out that weekend to go and see family. And I was like, have you got COVID? Like, are we not going to be able to go? And she said no. And I went, oh, okay. And then the penny dropped. And then I screamed and laughed and cried, and I picked up Maisie, and it was amazing. So we've got another about 4 months to go, and
oh gosh, are you ready for this, Luke? That'll be 2 under 3.
And then,
that's a lot.
Oh, lordy. Oh, Sally, I'm not ready at all. No one is. No one is for anything. No, it never is. And I remember when I was actually waiting to propose to Rachel, and I was talking. I had the ring made, and I was waiting, and one of my friends, and he messaged and said, "What are you waiting for?" I said, I'd love it." And he goes, "But why? Like, why wait? If you keep waiting, the moments that you will be together will pass." And so I literally went, "You're right." And it was about a week or two later, I was in the States, and then I was like, "All right, I'm doing it," and it just happened. So, I don't think you're ever.
Luke, I've been waiting 19 years. Yes, that's how long I've been with my partner. 19
years. Sally, I know your husband. I've worked with your. Well, not your husband. It should be. It's de facto husband, isn't it? I know your partner. I worked with Phil 25 years ago on the Big Arvo. He was our cameraman.
Actually, that's another thing we have in common, is that we both met my partner working on kids shows at Channel 7.
Yes. You've developed a stronger relationship, and that's fine. I'm not jealous.
Okay, let's get back to dad life. How much travel has Maisie done in her short life?
She's done a little bit of travel. She's done a little bit of long distance travel. So we basically decided, I don't know why, but for the first trip away as a family, that why don't we do direct from Sydney to LA?
And how old was she?
13 months. So
Luke.
we left. She's on the 14th of November, and we left on the 7th of December. So she was just before she was 13 months. So still very little.
Oh, but that's a tough age to travel.
Tough age. She was still very little, but also she was very
mobile.
She was still very, very alert. Yeah. So she was mobile. She was walking, not running at this stage, because she was still kind of learning her feet, but she didn't want to sit. She was ready to be up and about. But we decided to do the flight over there and back. And I think what I've learned the most about speaking to parents, I basically called every single person I know that's ever travelled and said, right, in 1940 you travelled to America, and I asked anyone any questions about them doing any travel. And I've learnt that anyone that has a suggestion is purely a suggestion. It's not something that's a rule. Like if someone says, do this, it works.
Yeah.
Because 99% of the time it won't. But that's why you ask 100 different people, because you'll have one of them that works. And it's just more so now going, it's a suggestion. If it works, it works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then let go of it and try something else, because my daughter is different to that daughter and that person's son and everybody else. So
absolutely.
one of the wonderful things that we did was we spoke to people that have done long distance flights with multiple kids and stuff like that and we just went in there with an open mind and went, okay, if it works, great. If not, move on, and that's okay. So we've done that. We've done a few road trips. We drove down to Wollongong. We went there a couple of times to go down to the botanical gardens or up the coast. So she's pretty good in a car.
Okay. Well, that's good because my daughter didn't like the car seat. She didn't like being strapped into anything for a good 3 years. So, road trips, they were torture. We did do a long haul to LA at 9 months and, I think that's well, you just have to accept that it's going to be hard. That's what I say. Once you've accepted it, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, once you've accepted it won't be easy, you're going to be fine.
Yep. I think we did the same thing with you when we both said to each other, hey, listen, this is going to be the worst 24 hours of our life. Let's just get through it. It's okay. And I said to Rachel as well, because I knew that once we get there or once we got to the States that all of her family would want to be doing this stuff. I said, Rachel, if you can, you try and sleep as much as you can on the plane and I'll stay up with Maisie because when I get there, I can just go into one of the rooms and I can have a sleep if I need to. And, that's fine. I'll do the plane. And so, we tried to.
Is that what happened?
No. Do you want to know this? Do you want to hear what happened or should we save it?
Yes.
Okay. So we were told and we were suggested to take her car seat you can clip the car seat into the plane. So we did that. I thought, we might as well do it. We had a seat with her and we went on the plane, put the car seat in it. On the way there, she sat down. She had she had some milk and she had some, we were playing in the airport. That was all fine. And then there was a child behind us who kicked our seat for the entire flight. Now, I turned around and they would have had 3 or 4 kids. And I promise you both parents took Valium because they didn't stop the kids from doing anything the entire flight. It was
I don't like that.
So frustrating. So what we ended up doing is I ended up just grabbing Maisie and I cradled her and I went up into the galley, like where they normally serve the drinks and stuff from. And I just sat there and I just rocked her for 3 hours. Now, I took my phone and my AirPods, so I downloaded some TV series, so I just basically sat there with her. Unfortunately, Rachel didn't get to sleep because the kid behind her was still knocking the chair. So
are you kidding?
The flight there was the best and worst thing that's ever happened to us. The reason it was the best thing that's ever happened to us is nothing will be that bad ever again.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And while I was standing in the galley, the dad at one point came past, and this was probably where we've only got 3 or 4 hours left. He's walked past and goes, hey, go on, mate, you enjoying the flight? And I looked at him and said, no, I've been up here for hours because your kids, I know, they don't like the planes very much. And I went back there and his mask was back on, his headphones were back in, he went back to sleep. So he didn't stop anyone. So that was our horrendous experience on the way there.
Yeah, see, parents like that, I mean, sometimes you can get it because they're probably just ignoring what the children are doing, letting them keep busy on a flight, but they give us a bad name.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between, hey, listen, you can do a few things and then the person in front who spent all that money on that seat, don't kick it all the time. So we got there. On the way back, we were so lucky. We were on the tarmac for an hour and a half. The flight was delayed, so we got on the plane and we got out to the thing. So we're there for an hour and a half. And Maisie was asleep, and I was like, she's asleep. We need to start moving because she's sleeping now, and this is great. Maisie woke up with 2 hours and 40 minutes left of the flight. So she slept
that's a dream.
14 hours.
Wow, in the car seat.
In the car seat. She just got in there and just slept. And Rachel and I both sort of kept looking at each other going, she's still asleep. And I'd wake up and look across and she was still asleep. So I think because she had the comfort of her car seat and she'd just been in the States with all of her cousins for a month, she was probably exhausted. But the flight there and flight back was actually so different. They were chalk and cheese because one was just horrendous, and the other one, Rachel and I both got hours of sleep. So it was crazy. It was amazing.
Yeah. You've done the worst flight now. You've got it out of the way.
Yeah.
Until your daughter's the one kicking someone's seat.
Well, I was going to say, I'm assuming that after we bring our son into the world, we will be having to take him over to the States. So I'm going to be thinking it's going to be the same thing at the end of 2026, except I'm going to have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so I'm going to have the one with the kicking of the seat.
Maisie hasn't done any other flights since then. You've been scarred.
Yes. Look, I don't think we've been scarred. I just think that we just can't fly anywhere. It's just living in Sydney and in this point in time, and we basically we look forward to the trips to the States, and we go there every 2 years. So we're at the moment we're sitting back and waiting for the next flight over there. So most of it's been in the car. She's generally pretty good in the car, but again, every day is different. Every time you're traveling is different, whether it's too cold, whether it's in the morning, whether it's before their nap or after their nap, or if they're hungry, or there's so many ingredients that need to come together for it to be a good trip. And even if it's just to daycare and back, like it could be torture.
Oh, it's so true. But we just love it, right? Because it's the most rewarding thing.
It's the best.
Well, let's talk about California, because that's where your wife's family are and you have been with Maisie. How kid-friendly do you think California is?
California, look, I think when you're out of the sort of the crazy busyness, it's really wonderful. When Rachel's family live sort of north of LA, they live in a place called Santa Clarita, and so there's a Drew Barrymore show on Santa Clarita Diet that's on Netflix, I think it is. And anyway, it's in the suburbs, and it's a really, really great spot. Rachel's family are really, really close, so you can walk between nearly all of their houses because they all live so close to each other. So it's amazing. Like, you'll be sitting there one afternoon and I might have 3 or 4 of the nieces and nephews with me, and then all of a sudden 5 and 6 come over, and then 3 hours later 7 and 8 come over, and then all of us, so there's always kids everywhere. And I personally love LA. I miss it. I think because I have my my in-laws there, my family over there now. When I go over there, I know that you're always going to have a big family meal, or you're going to be all going to go to the park together, or you're all going to go to the markets together, and they're just a really, really close-knit family. So I found that in the suburbs over in California, particularly Santa Clarita, there's just sidewalks and parks everywhere. You walk 500 meters in that direction and there's a swing set, and you walk 500 meters in that direction, and so
well, that's the era you're in. You need a good playground everywhere you go.
It's true words have never been spoken, Sally. Like, honestly, I start to do a reconnaissance every time I'm driving somewhere. I'm always looking out the window. Oh, there's a park down there. Great. If something happens, I know I can go down there. So I always know that wherever I'm going, I will Google it before I get to there. So if we're going to do something and all of a sudden something happens and we can't get through, or the car breaks down, we've got a flat tire or whatever, I know that I can go, look, if you go that way in there, there's a park just there, just go and play there for a while and I'll sort something out. And so, I know where all of the parks are now, and they're great. There's some really wild parks though. Like, Sally, if you've been down to Darling Harbour, near where the Big W is, that's monstrous. And Rachel keeps saying to me, how is it legal? Like, some of those structures are massive. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. They must be okay. But some of the parks are just phenomenal, and we're very much in that zone now. Very, very much in the we need a slide, we need a swing.
Yeah, my daughter's kind of leaving that zone, and I miss it because a playground was gold. It was when they wanted wriggle time, and, you could just have a break from your day. It would extend out the day a bit longer because they get to play in the park. Your daughter might actually be in that stage where if you say it's time to go, she'll go, but she'll reach a stage soon where she'll want to just say, no, Dad, and you will not be able to get her out of the park.
Yeah, it's... I think I'm starting to get a sniff of that now. Like, I think it's starting to happen because it's, I say, hey, listen, we're going to be leaving soon. So just, I'll let you know, we've got a couple more minutes, and sort of try to do that countdown thing. So it's not just a let's go. And there's so many times too where I try to really take a step back and say, do we really have to go right now? Like, I know that I need to get home and I need to sort of do this and do that. And it's like, yeah, but at the moment she's in her prime. She's having the best time of her life. And it's like, okay, well, we won't go just yet. But I know that there's so much more ahead that's going to be so much harder. And it's just, we've got to deal with that as we get to it. But at the moment, the parks are definitely our friends.
Yeah, and I loved California with a baby, actually. I have been to New York many times. Love, love, love New York.
Yep.
But I don't know if it's as kid-friendly or baby-friendly as California, or even just LA. We went to LA, Santa Monica, around that whole region. Didn't do fun parks or anything because Piper was only 9 months at the time.
Yep.
But so many people would come up to me or offer to help. I did a lot of kind of days where it was just me and Piper because her dad was there for work.
Yep.
And loads of people would come up and just want want to have a chat. I mean, Americans are very chatty.
They are super chatty. Oh, absolutely. And like really, really pleasant and, they go out of the way. Oh, no, let me get this for you. And, and how is it? And sometimes, like you might just be having a little moment and they're just, they're going, yeah, we can help out. And like, that's, like you said, it's really friendly and a lot of it's family orientated. We were really lucky. We went to Disney when we went over there with Maisie, and I really wanted to go with the whole family. I would love to go with all the cousins and stuff, but it was my first time at Disney with my daughter, and I'm a Disney boy, man.
Are you?
Dad? Yeah,
I can see you with Mickey ears on.
I've got multiple Mickey ears. So for me, it was a real bucket list to take my daughter to Disney, and we put her in a Belle dress and we went down and we went there for one of the days, and it was just my mum and stepdad, Rachel's mum, Rachel, myself, and Maisie. So there was a small group of us, and normally I'm running around going, we need to go on this ride and we need to go and see this and we need to do that. But we just cruised around, and she just like looked at all the colours, and she met a couple of the characters, and it was the most magical day. And and I know that it's not it's not like a super easy trip, and it's not, something that you can do every couple of weeks because it's an expensive trip. But that was probably one of the most magical days that I've had with my family, because I saw the joy on Rachel's face, and then she saw the happiness on mine when we were getting photos with Minnie, and Maisie just loved it. She got photos with Pluto, Mickey, Minnie, and Darth Vader. And then a couple of weeks later, we went to get photos with Santa, and she hated Santa.
Oh, yeah. Santa can be scary, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, but she was there with Darth Vader, just like, what's up?
Yeah, that's a bit
had
crazy.
A great time with Darth. It was an amazing experience to go there.
It is different, isn't it? It actually takes the pressure off when you go to places like that with a child who's too young to go on any rides. Yep. And she might have been free. Was she free at the age of 1? I don't think you have to pay for toddlers. You don't in Tokyo Disneyland.
I can't remember, to be honest with you. I don't think we did. I think she was free because like when they're like really, really young, like it's the same thing, because sometimes you can see things and sometimes they can't go on rides. We went on Pirates. We went on Pirates of the Caribbean, and she loved it. I thought she'd be scared, but she loved it. And then it's a small world, but most of it was just going around and seeing the colours, and and she loved watching the roller coasters and stuff like that. But that sort of stuff is that was kind of core memory stuff for me. And I had the heaviest backpack, it was tucked under the stroller or on my bag, because I wanted to make sure that if anything happened, she had changes of clothes, she had plenty of diapers, plenty of water, plenty of snacks. And
wow, so you're quite well planned as a dad. That's all you, is it?
It's a bit me, because I like the snacks too. So if I can take
we all love the snacks.
Yeah, if I can take a backpack of snacks, and dad tax is a real thing, and I think it should be a law. But
dad
tax. So if she has a cookie, I have a cookie. So if she gets nuggets, I get a nugget. It's just dad tax. So I get to take some.
I haven't heard of that one before. Dad tax. I love it.
Yeah. So I take the backpacks filled with that stuff, because I want everyone else to have a really good time as well. And if everything's there, Rachel and I, we don't fight over it, but Rachel and I, we are very much in this for the benefit of each other. Like, I really love to do things to make Rachel's life easier. I'll say, I'll do the change, or I'll do the bath, and then she'll come in and say, no, I'll do the bath, so that we both kind of want to help each other out. And it's a really lovely relationship, because if I can see that she doesn't quite have the energy to do the thing that she normally does, I'll step in, and I like to do it because we like to do things for each other. And so I like to pack a really good bag. Particularly the best thing is when you get in the car, and if I say to Rachel, "Do you have this?" and she says yes, and she says, "Luke, do you have this?" and I go yes, and we both we're on the same wavelength, and we're on the same page, and then teamwork makes the dream work. So we're just at the moment
teamwork
with one
makes the dream work.
Yeah, at the moment with one child, I think we're handling the struggle of the juggle quite well. I think we're able to be really supportive of each other at the moment, but I just know that we will definitely be tested in a few months' time when we have our second one coming around, and I don't know what to do. So we'll see how we go.
Well, I was going to ask, what's your parenting style? Are you the baby bag carrier, or are you a wing it type of dad? And there you go, you are the baby bag carrier.
Yeah, I'd be the baby bag carrier. I think I'm maybe I sometimes over overpack. Like we'll have
Yeah.
like too much
I'm an
stuff.
overpacker. I don't think you can. I mean, it's bad on your
Yeah.
back, but you need
One
it.
of my favourite sayings, and it's from one of my best mates said this to me a while ago, and I can't stop saying it. You're better to be looking at it than looking for it. And I just think that is so true when it comes to everything with a toddler. Is I'd rather have so many snacks in the back of the car that haven't been opened than be going, she just needs a banana or she just needs something to eat. I'd rather just go, there's so many there that everyone can have a snack rather than, be looking for it. And it's that's kind of like our new motto now. So yeah, better to be looking at it than looking for it. And that's how we're going to continue to live our lives, I think.
Does Maisie have a favourite snack?
No, she's very much in the trials now. We try to really. I always said, and I'm positive that every person you have on this podcast, Sally, will say the same thing. Oh, we don't want a fussy eater, or we want to. We all have these dreams and aspirations with our kids, but if our kids aren't like that, then they're just not like that, and you just got to accept that, I think. But we try to give her lots of different things, so she doesn't have a snack that has to be there. Sometimes she likes yogurt, sometimes she likes cheese, sometimes she likes banana, sometimes she likes apple, and on the road at the moment, it's those saladas. It's just plain crackers. Loves them. And so does every crevice in her car seat. Loves the crackers.
Oh, Luke. Yes, the car seat. It is a gold mine under there. You know what? We just recently got rid of the car seat.
Stop it.
More. We do not have a car seat anymore. Hooray. But underneath was disgusting. There were crackers. There were little backs of earrings. There were tiny little toys that I remember buying my daughter years ago and she opened and lost straight away. It's kind of fun actually, but yeah, it's gross.
Oh, Sally, do you know, like that's almost like the pearly gates. Like you're telling me that the no car seat thing, like I've heard rumors about how exciting it is and I'm nowhere near getting rid of our car seat.
You're actually about to have less room in your car, so I don't want to rub it in. So with all the travelling you have done with Maisie overseas and in Australia, some of those road trips, have you made any mistakes that we can learn from?
Probably one of the biggest mistakes was sort of saying we can play and then we'll just get everything together just before we leave. It's the biggest no, and
No.
It's not just with travel for me. It's been pretty much for everything that comes with Maisie. If I've got a minute to get something done now that it needs to be done tomorrow, if I can do it now, just do it now. If you have an opportunity to do it now, because that opportunity might not be there later. So I find I'm actually getting things like I'll get the car packed and I'll have the pram in the car and I'll have like all of her dry snacks or whatever. I'll have that stuff in the car and I'll have some toys in the car or whatever ready to go the night before so that when we're waking up or, like for example, her daycare bag for the Monday gets packed on the Friday afternoon because then I don't know what my weekend's going to be. But the same thing with that kind of travel stuff is just don't wait till the last second because sometimes you can have 3 explosions in the 20 minutes before you go. And then that they might be spaced out so perfectly that it's, it just takes you half an hour past when you're supposed to leave. And then you're stressed trying to get her in the car. And then she feels stressed because she's being rushed, like it's just prior preparation. Like it just really helps. So yeah, I try to do stuff well and truly beforehand. So my biggest mistake that I think I've ever made was leaving it to the last second. There's no last second. When you're a parent, you need a last hour.
Oh, yeah, and this is terrible. But now if I think, we're going away in a week or so, I won't pack yet. I won't get ready yet.
No.
But then someone gets sick.
Yep.
Like even me. And when I get sick these days, I'm down for like 2 weeks
for the
with sinus issues.
Yes,
I am out. And I'm sure it's parenthood because you can't really relax like you normally would. You can't just sleep and recover. You've got to look after another person. So now if I've got time, I will get all the things I need to do done now because tomorrow I could be sick and I won't have time. I won't have energy to do that.
Yeah, it's so no, but Sally, it's
like
so
an old
true.
lady.
And now I'm not lying to you. If I hear the start of a movie, which normally starts at like 8:30 if we've got television on, like that's a late night for me. Not the ending, not the credits. I will never ever see the end of a movie.
Yeah. Is there anything that you must bring of Maisie's, like a bunny or a teddy that she has to have with her at all times, especially on trips?
So she's into Moana at the moment, but not so much the teddies, it's the books. So she goes to bed with a book at night now. So she goes to bed hugging her book.
Really?
And then when we go to daycare, she takes the book with her in her car seat. So she's not really she doesn't have a soft toy, she doesn't have a blankie or a binky or anything that she needs to have with her. Sometimes we go to the car and she doesn't want anything at all. So, we're really lucky in the fact that she doesn't need that one thing, because I've heard stories that if, mummy or daddy misplaces that one thing, then it is World War III and it's the end of the world.
Luke,
tell me.
Sometimes mummy and daddy have two of the same favourite toy.
Oh, such a good idea.
I don't know who that person is, but apparently that's what they do.
No. Yeah, there might be one. There might be another. One of my nieces had it's like a teddy bear head that's on a blanket kind of thing. All right.
Yeah.
And there's a dummy in it. Anyway, so we were camping for Mother's Day in the States years ago. It was 2017 or 2018. And we were cleaning up and we shook one of the blankets and this little thing went into the fire.
Oh.
And so we've grabbed it and pulled it out and we patted it down and singed it and all that sort of stuff. And she's like, that's okay. And she kept it. So then they had to go and burn the other one.
You're kidding.
Because otherwise one would be burnt and one wouldn't. So, so the second toy is great. But if you burn one, you've got to burn the second.
Oh,
so,
look,
yeah.
To be honest with you, I have never gotten over my parents throwing out my favourite teddy. Its name was Pinky. It was really original. It was a pink little teddy. And I vomited on it on a road trip. I used to get car sick all the time. And my mum threw it out. And Pinky, I still get emotional today over her.
Wow. Isn't that crazy how, attached you can get to I mean, I had toys growing up and I know that there's still some of them in a box at my mum's house that just never got thrown away. There was a couple that were there, but yeah, we don't I don't know whether we're lucky or we're not lucky, but she doesn't have something that she's absolutely obsessed with at the moment. But again, she's 20 months old now, 21 months old now. So
it could change. A lot of things change. I do remember being a little cocky like that, Luke. Not saying you're cocky, but I remember at daycare, she was moving into an older room. I can't remember the exact age. And they said, does she have a bunny or anything? And I said, oh, not really. And they went, oh, good, because if this is the age where it begins and then they cannot go anywhere without it. And it was, of course, when something is said out loud, it happens, doesn't it?
Of course. Yep. I'm looking at it now, the time, and I will remember this moment that I've just said that Maisie doesn't have anything she's attached to, and I know now that it's going to change.
I am sorry, because that's what happened with us. My daughter became very attached. We were on one flight and she took this unicorn that she was attached to. So this was before she became super attached. And we had the unicorn on the flight and we left it on the flight.
You didn't.
And my daughter was so emotional. And it was, and so my sister actually is a Qantas pilot and it was on a Qantas flight. And I called my sister, what can we do? Yeah. Can you please look for it? And she did promise me that she asked
Call all of your pilot friends and tell them to search.
Well, it's, the cabin crew, the flight attendants were looking and she said that Unicorn ended up making new unicorn friends and was off at Disneyland having fun. So Unicorn was happy and and then my daughter was happy. That Unicorn was happy.
Well, I'm actually happy now because that made my heart sink. Oh,
I know. She's so sensitive. She's got a beautiful heart, my daughter. Well, do you have any other tips for parents about traveling with kids?
If you're lucky enough to be in a partner parenting relationship, so it's yourself and someone else. If you're about to get on a plane, have one person go on the plane with all the things first, because if you've got a child seat or whatever, they say people with kids or elderly people can board the plane. Load up that one person and say, I've got all my kids over there. They are allowed to go on the plane before everyone else gets down there. You can put the mat down. You can put the blankets down. You can put, whatever you need to, get your bags up the top, secure your area, and then have the other parent, if they're there or even if it's just a friend that's flying with you, God help them, wait until they call out their name and then get on the plane. So if you can get that child onto the plane as little amount of time as possible.
Yes, I'm always at odds with that do we go on early or do we wait to the last minute? But that's a good idea. Send someone else on
Send
if you
someone
can.
on first to load the plane with everything there.
Yes.
They can put their snacks out, they can put stickers down or whatever they need to do so that when they come onto the plane, their seat has their blankie or has their teddy or whatever, they're ready to go. And then the other person, the other parent or guardian is there walking them around, getting to the toilet or doing what they want to do, having a run or whatever, counting how many people have backpacks on their, like all that sort of stuff. Because then when they get into that seat, then they're there for a small amount of time. And I think that worked for us for both those flights, and it worked really well. I actually got Maisie's car seat loaded on the plane. Everything was great. It's amazing. And then just before Rachel was coming down the aisle, I realized I was on the wrong side of the plane.
Oh, you were on the
so
wrong
I had
seat.
to. I was in. I put her in A, but she was in F, and I got her on the wrong side of the plane. So there was this quick rush, and I'm like handing the seat to people in the middle four, like they're all throwing them over their heads and passing everything over onto the other side, and everyone was cheering, and it was
That is so funny.
it was a disaster. But make sure you got the right seat number, and then also and be patient with yourself.
Yes.
You know what? We're not all, miracle workers. Our kids are learning, they're experimenting. And, if they have a meltdown, then they're not feeling comfortable. And it's just like, you know what? Sit with them for a minute. They're not going to take off if you're helping a baby cry. And, it's okay. Everything will be okay. It's just a phase.
Yeah, and the majority of people will actually be super helpful if you're on a flight with a baby. I flew a couple times by myself, and even in the airport, people were kind of running up to me, oh, you dropped this. Or I remember my daughter's shoe came off and someone put it on for me. Everyone was really, really helpful. They want to hold the baby as well at times. You're like, I think it's okay.
Yeah. I love a traveling grandparent. They're like, oh, we've just finished visiting our grandkids in so and so. And you're like, okay. And they're like, would you like me to read them a book? Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
you're a grandparent. You sit there and they read a book.
Actually,
and
do you know there? I just was made aware of this recently. There's a business, I have to look into it more, where you can, I guess if you have a lot of money, you can hire someone to fly with you and be the nanny on the flight.
Wow.
I know. I think it's called Journey, but it's spelled like with double E on the end.
Yeah,
I'm going to look into this, find out more about it.
So that's just people that want to travel. They go, look, I'll look after your kids if you fly me there. And then, I might even apply.
Yeah, I know.
I could do that.
Oh, if I just want to get to
good.
LA.
Yeah. I'll look after your kids for that flight. One of my biggest phrases though is food is mood, and so many times I've just found with Maisie or with all my nieces and nephews, if they're cracking it, like yes, most of the time they could be tired. Sometimes they just need a snack, and food is mood.
I mean, that's why I call these snacks and suitcases, because they're the two things you need. You absolutely must have on a flight or a trip.
Yeah. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, like I think if I don't have toys, I can make faces, but if I don't have food, I can't distract them from that hunger. But as long as there's nappies, wipes and snacks, then that's literally you can physically persevere to get through the rest of it by mentally distracting them. But if they're hungry, they just cry, because a full belly, they'll probably have a sleep afterwards as well, and that's everyone wins.
Has becoming a parent changed the way you travel or the kind of trips you want to take?
Yes, and yes. So it's changed the way that I travel, because I was always, even when I was traveling with work, I didn't need to sit at the airport, and most of the time I'd checked in, so I knew that I didn't have to be there 3 hours beforehand, and I'd always rock up late. When Maisie gets older, I'd love to do trips. So like maybe Rachel and Maisie do a trip together, and then myself and my son, we do a trip together. And then the next year, Rachel and our son do a trip together, and me and Maisie do it. So like, being able to have like that one-on-one time stuff will be really great. But I'm a theme park kind of guy. So
are you?
Love it. I would love to do a show that's just, there are so many theme parks around the world that is just theme park travel, like to do the Disneys and to do the Wet and Wilds and to do the adventure parks, and then there's so many parks to do, and I would love to just love all that. I'm still very much a kid, and I can't wait to have kids so then I have a legitimate excuse to do it all again.
Being on a kids show, I did a lot of the theme parks.
Exactly.
And we'd have to do the same ride over and over again.
I remember doing
So
this.
I was kind of over it. But then when you have kids, you get to relive it all through their eyes, and it actually makes it more enjoyable again, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait for the magic of Christmas again. I really can't wait for that.
Okay, here we go with our Fast 5 questions for Luke Jacobz. What's your favourite tech toy for travel?
My favourite tech toy would probably be, do you know what? A portable charger, because headphones can go flat, devices can go flat, like an iPad if she's watching a movie. We've got this great little headset thing that's like a fluffy earmuffs that we can actually connect to it so she can watch a movie or listen to her lullabies and have a sleep, and we can put that on. So if batteries go flat, it would probably be the portable charger.
If budget wasn't a factor, what's your dream destination?
Budget wasn't a factor. It would probably be every Disneyland park in the world. And do you know what? And if do you know what? I'd love to do the Disney cruise to all the Disney theme parks. So on the Disney cruise and go around the world going to all the theme parks. I'm such a Disney diehard, and I've got a daughter, so I'm allowed to do this now, and I love it.
That's your excuse. Sure, Luke, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Complete this sentence. When traveling, I never leave home without my
wife.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah. No,
correct answer.
I think you know this too, Sally. When you work for a show that you go to get to travel to really nice places and eat really nice food, you get in trouble when you come home. So now, if I have a choice, if I ever get to travel, I'm taking Rachel with me, because it's much easier to share the food with her than it is to tell her how good it was afterwards.
I know we do get to eat some delicious things, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Now, what's your travel style, backpack or suitcase?
Now, very much so suitcase, because I can fit more in there, and I know that I can be very, very organised with my suitcase. Backpacks were fun. Backpacks were in the old days. Backpacks, you can just shove stuff in and it doesn't really matter. But I think now I'd like to be able to have a little bit more stability, or a little bit more knowing where we're going to bed that night, having the room set up. I can set it up nice and quietly, room service. Backpack's all about junk food, and suitcases is all about, fine dining and relaxing by the pool, I think.
I love it. Yes, a sleek suitcase. Backpacks was more Kentucky, right?
That's it. Backpack was, and I think that's what's bringing me back the memories, yes.
And finally, what's your favourite snack to pack in your suitcase?
Savoury and chocolates. So salt and vinegar chips, the Barger mix, and I also like a little lolly every now and then. So and the snacks for Maisie is just those very, very plain, square, dry crackers. She loves them. Big ones, the big ones. I want the big ones. So that's hers.
Oh, easy. Thank you so much, Luke Jacobz, for coming on Snacks and Suitcases.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having a chat. It's really nice to be able to speak to other parents, particularly one who's gone through everything that I'm going through at the moment. It makes me feel a little bit normal, and it makes me feel like, I'm not the only one going through bits and pieces. So it's really nice to have a chat. So thanks for having me.
Luke Jacobz is such a gentleman and a family man. He really puts family first, doesn't he? All his future holidays seem to revolve around getting his kids to America to visit family. Oh, and also theme parks. I don't think I've met a dad who is as obsessed with Disney as Luke Jacobz is. I hope he gets to see every single Disneyland, Disney World, and get on that cruise ship. The other thing that really impressed me with Luke is his organisational skills. He seems so regimented. If you'd like to follow along with Luke's adventures, you can on Instagram. His account's at Luke Jacobz with a Z. And don't forget, he's also on Sydney Weekender on Channel 7, 5:30 p.m. Sundays. A little plug for my own show there. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, I'll include all those details in the show notes. Now, next week, I'm having a highlights episode with some of the best parts of the series. I'll be answering questions, sharing some of my own tips I've picked up along the way. It's a little bit of a wrap-up because I'll be taking a little break before Series 2 starts. But don't worry, it won't be for too long. I've got a lot of interviews already lined up, a lot of prep that I have to do, and that's why I need to take a little break. So if you have any questions, if there's a country you'd like me to look into, a topic, a type of travel, anything to do with travel you'd like me to take a deep dive into next series or answer next week, then please reach out and please share this episode with your travel-loving friends. But until next time, happy travels.
And don't forget the snacks.